Schatzy, welcome to Jewish Money Matters. It's really a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
It's really, really fun. I know you are all about having fun, and I'm going to try to make it as fun as possible. You once told me I don't do anything if it's not fun. And we'll talk about that a lot because I can't agree with you more. And I think it's a unique perspective, actually. But as I want to actually start with something that I saw on your about section on LinkedIn that I really, really loved. You're a business coach, you're an entrepreneur, you're a play therapist, but there's something that you wrote that said there's a catch to hiring Schatzy and Co. You must only hire me if you're ready to have fun. We don't stress. We don't fear failures along the way. We don't fret. We build something out of love, joy, and simply pushing the limits of what's possible. I absolutely love that. And I want to get to that part of the intersection of fun and business and how the love of play and fun is an essential part not only of your business and your work but what you teach your clients. But before we get to that important intersection, maybe Schatzy, walk us a little bit through the journey. I'm really curious, like what came first? Schatzy, what came first, the love of play therapy or the love of business? Schatzy, the play therapist, the therapist, or the entrepreneur? What came first?
Play came first.
Play came first, yes, tell us more.
No, it's like when you see little kids playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always playing in their moment, they're being present, they're fully engaged. It's just the way of, I guess, the way of being,
Mm-hmm.
Where I always love to like try things out, be curious. I like to say I rather try and fail than never to try at all.
Right. Right.
Because I'm just gonna try it and okay, we'll learn from that. If I fail, okay. It's like when you see kids building up a tower and it falls down. Do they get depressed that it fell down and that's it? No, they build it up again and it fell
Mhm.
down. But they're having fun building it up again.
Right.
They're never getting so stuck on like, oh, I messed up. I'll just do it again. I'll do it differently.
It's interesting you say that because I often think then something happens along the way, and I don't know if it's the school system or what does it, that we lose that fun and that curiosity to experiment, which inevitably means something's gonna fail along the way, right? We sort of lose it along the is it where do you think what do you think goes on that we lose that curiosity? And maybe even how do we bring it back?
Probably life or responsibilities and paying bills or just like get stuck on whatever we have to do, to survive,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. But you didn't lose it.
No, because that's just me in a way. I'm very I think I get it a lot from my father. He's very playful. He's very like we kibbutz, like type of thing. Like we could
Mm-hmm.
we could play around with things.
Is he also an entrepreneur?
No, he's a history teacher, but he's a very good one.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is. So then career-wise, how did you start? You started as a therapist or you just launched a bit? Like what was your career path?
I started working with kids when I was younger, like teenager, like camps and special things. And then afterwards, I did real estate. I worked for hospital research. I did architect company. I worked for a food manufacturer. And then, but as I was doing that, I was applying. I was trying to apply to school. I didn't get in right away. I mean, I went to undergrad. I got my psychology degree, and then
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, going to grad school. Let's just say it took a little bit while because I'm not the smartest one when it comes to books. So
Mm-hmm.
it took me like 3, 4 times to get into grad school. So while I was doing that and applying in that, I was working in different companies, doing different things, trying different things out. And then it was always my goal to work with kids on a therapeutic type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just a matter of when to get there. Like I wasn't, people get stuck looking, and I did it late in the game. I wasn't like 21 and in grad school and finished my master's when I was 22. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did it at a later point of my time. And people get stuck like, I have to get done by a certain time. I have to finish the degree. I'm not gonna make enough money. Like I need to make $1 million by the time I'm like 27. Like, why are you rushing for? Like, just like enjoy it. Like, just see what goes.
Yes. Yes. Which actually brings me to my next question. I wanted to ask you about this because again, going back to the it's if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And let's enjoy the ride, right? so many people, Schatzy, get when it comes to making a livelihood, like you just alluded to, or business, they have this belief that, and it's possibly what we saw around us growing up. Maybe it comes from there, I'm not sure, but this belief that to make a livelihood has to be hard and it's going to imply some sort of trade-off of your enjoyment and pleasure. And again, we put these I'm going to sacrifice everything now, and by 30, I'll have $2 million in the bank or whatever. Like and I think this belief that it has to be hard, and it has to be a trade-off of our enjoyment and the joy. It's all a big lie. In fact, I think the more fun you're having, the more money you're going to be making. But I mean, not many people agree with me on that. And so I'd like you to maybe expand on that, like, and tell us, how did you, I know it's from your own life experience, but maybe get a little bit more granular on how do we come to that conclusion? Was it, you saw it in your upbringing, you alluded to your father's kind of spirit and way of being, but were there any particular things that you saw growing up, or was it something that maybe you just learned along the way and maybe it was the hard way? I'm not sure. How does one come to have that very unique belief?
I never was around like money, like pressure with money.
Uh-huh.
It was more like, okay, we have a little bit, we'll spend it. And I wasn't like one extreme to another. Like I saved my own money. I remember buying my first keyboard, saved up for a long time. Um,
How old were you?
I think I was around 15,
Mm-hmm.
13, 14, 13, yeah, something like that.
So
First,
you
like,
saved your own money. Uh-huh.
I paid a lot for my wedding, stuff that I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
just working in a way where I'm doing what I enjoy doing, making some money, but okay, you're surviving, and some people have a hard time, so you sometimes have to borrow money, and sometimes, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting bogged down.
It seems like I think what you're
I'm
suggesting is
not, I'm
like,
not getting stuck in like the rut. Like, okay, we don't have any money, and it's stressful out there. A lot of people have a lot of challenges,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like you just gotta keep moving. Like, people who don't have a job, like your job is to apply for a job, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. At this moment, that's
Yeah,
what you got to do.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And it seems like you're suggesting, Shatsi, that you don't tend to have an emotional attachment to money. Like sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. You borrow, you do what you need to do at the moment, but it didn't, it seems like, contrary to many people, and this could be related to your work and to your study of Bitachon, but we'll get to that in a second. But what I'm hearing is not being emotionally tethered. I mean, not that we are ever
Yeah,
immune to that, but less maybe than others.
unless maybe it's definitely challenging.
Right. So
There's an emotional aspect to it. I mean, let's be real,
right, right. But it doesn't, it sounds like in your case, it doesn't ever, again, it doesn't sap out the joy.
No, because then it's more like, okay, but like, what am I gonna do now? Like, what can I do moving forward? What can it's just, I don't get, I guess, I have a motto. Tell me I can't do it, I'll show you how I do it.
Mm.
So, okay, then I'll just keep moving.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. So,
Not
so,
easy to keep moving, but like, also part of the aspect is, I like to say, surround yourself with friends that support you, encourage you, inspire you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, agree. So much of it is the people you're around with and the positivity of the people, the optimism, right? And not get bogged down. There's a lot of sometimes not just inner chatter, but outer chatter, right? About like things are so hard and business is hard and the market is down and then right. And I think we have to learn to tune down the noise.
Yeah, or too out the news.
Tune out the noise, exactly. So not at all unrelated, that's to your way of living and your way of doing business and this theme of joy, having fun, enjoyment. Shatzi, bitachon, exclusive reliance in God. I know you're on your 43rd cycle of studying shar bitachon.
How'd you know about that? How'd you know that?
You either told me, you put it on LinkedIn, it's in your bio, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
But plus I know you've you also, like me, you also have studied many of the other books on Bitachon, like the Beis Halevi, the Madrigas Adam, etc. But so my question is, first of all, when did the dedication to like the formal study of Bitachon, making it this, this integral part of your life, when did it start? And was there something that prompted it?
I don't know, it was like many, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted it? I think I wanted to learn it with a chavrusa of mine,
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine, and he said, I don't have time. Okay, he said, I said to myself, fine, and I'll just do it myself. I'll
Uh-huh.
find another chavrusa.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how it went. That's how it really started, more specific.
Was there something going on in your life that kind of triggered the curiosity to know what is this whole bitachon thing about?
I don't remember exactly.
Because I remember for myself, it was actually like a financial challenging time. And I remember hearing the Lubavitcher Rebbe say so many times, study the gate of trust, study the gate of trust. And finally, I looked at my husband and said, what is this gate of trust?
I don't know if there's one specific thing, but it was many, many years ago. Maybe 7.
Mm-hmm. For
Mm.
me, it was '08. Actually. It was '08. But so how do you do it? Is it something that happens every day? Like
What happens every day?
the learning on bitachon.
Oh yeah, every day.
Every day. Uh-huh. And I know there's even a journaling involved. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which I got inspired by you, and I haven't tell me what it is. Like you learn every day and then you journal about like what the learning was and how you interpret it, or what is the journaling about?
Whatever's on my mind related
Uh-huh.
to whatever's been happening.
I actually love that, and I'm actually gonna take it in. Because I always tell my students, I teach a class on bitachon already for many years, once a week, and I always tell my students, look, if building the relationship with Hashem, right, that's the essence of bitachon. This is about a relationship. It's not about the results you're gonna get. Then make it a vivid thing. Like every time you see Hashem openly in your life, which if we become sensitive to it, we see it, write it down, like cement it, like stack up the evidence, right? Don't, and have a journal about it. And then when you put on LinkedIn that you journal about your learning of bitachon, it kind of like reminded me of the same idea. And I thought it's such a beautiful thing to do.
Not an easy thing. You just have to like integrate it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
so it's one.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
say, I like to say, or at least I try to make it my frame of reference.
Right.
You
Right. I agree.
know?
I agree. And I appreciate so much that you say you're on your 43rd cycle, because it's again a testament to like this is not something that you just kind of learn about it here and there. I think it's something that you have to constantly do to rewire your brain. At least that's how I feel with myself. Like I felt like over the years it's been a complete rewiring of my brain, so that then it just becomes a lens through which I approach situations.
Also, I like to say that even though I learned it 43 times, each time is like the first time.
Yeah. Wow. That's so beautiful. Like each time something you can appreciate something different about it, no?
Yeah, yeah, you're a different person, a new day, it's a new month,
Right.
you know?
It's a new challenge, it's a new relationship, it's a new everything. There was I'm actually gonna put you on the spot a little bit here with a story, because I know I've heard a story that you shared on my husband's podcast, the Gate of Trust podcast, a while back ago, and I've quoted you on it with students. I've shared the story many times. It's a story about bitachon, not about the fact how it impacts your emotions, which is, we know it's the basic, right? It's an emotional state, and you can face situations and be calmer. All that, but it was actually about breaking nature, and a challenge that was there that was really obvious and evident. It disappeared.
It was overseas, yeah.
Yeah.
Overseas, I got stuck there and I was in trouble with the government. Something happened. It was 8 o'clock and I have Rusa at 9 with Shabbat with a rub of my shoe.
Uh-huh.
So it was like a major issue and a major fine type of thing, type of gonna have to pay. So I went outside. I said, "Okay, Schatzkamer, you learned this 9 times. You can handle this. You go to Shia. You could, I was going through Shabbat in my mind. And then I came home. I didn't do anything, and within a few days, I heard gone, finished.
It disappeared.
Yep. Yeah. I didn't have to pay anything. I didn't get in trouble. Nothing happened like it did. I didn't even send an email to respond, to follow up, what's going on. Nothing. Did absolutely nothing, you know?
So when the news came in, were you triggered and then you brought yourself back to emotional equilibrium?
It was a first trigger, but it took 15, 20 minutes to like, okay,
Mhm.
settle down.
Like bring all the learning into like
Right.
das and emotional.
So I find the more you learn it, the more you integrate it, that time frame will be, instead of 15 minutes, it'll be like a minute, it'll be seconds, it'll be, what I mean? It'll be such more shorter, to the
Exactly.
point where you're not gonna, okay, fine, like whatever.
So you find equilibrium, you come back, you do nothing, and life just goes on. Life just went on.
Something like that.
Has has this ever happened again? Something similar?
Happens often. Um, I have to look at my journal to see specifics.
Ah, you see, people, this is why that journal is so important. This is good.
It actually
That
just actually just happened recently. But see, you're looking at the bigger picture things like impact, but there's like everyday things that you could like. I find parking spot in Borough Park.
right.
Okay, like that's where it starts. Yeah, but it's the tiny things that help you with the bigger things.
Exactly. Exactly. Which is going back to what I said before, why it's so important to journal about when those tiny things happen. These things that you could like chalk them to coincidence, right? And acknowledge that it's not coincidence, that it's God is real, He's in your life and He's taking care of you. And that's what can help you bring that into front and center when you really um kind of need it because the challenge seems overwhelming or out of anything that you can grasp.
Right. The people ask me, okay, so then how do I implement it? How do I get through stuff that people go through, whether it's job wise, whether it's parnasa, whether it's family stuff, whether it's health stuff, whatever it may be. Like try to implement bitachon when it's not so like when the world's coming to an end, God forbid, because it could be very, very difficult to like access that level of feeling when you're not used to that. Like you don't like you're not training yourself on a typical type of day to see bitachon or implement it. And when things go haywire, which obviously we all go through different things, it is very challenging. And then we get discouraged. It didn't work or it didn't come through.
Right.
And then we get depressed or we get frustrated or we get angry at God or why didn't it work? It's sometimes it could be very difficult. It could be very hard to just like get through things that are so difficult. Like
It,
and it
yeah.
could be, and the simple things that I train myself like to do is like even looking for parking, and also you have to verbalize it. You can't just keep it in your head, just like I'm talking to you now. Bitachon has to be like a work, like you have to verbalize it out to yourself, whether it's to yourself, whether it's to a friend, a colleague, or whether you're in a car by yourself and you're talking to yourself,
Hmm.
or to Hashem, like, okay, Hashem, I know I have to be at the office at 9:30. I know Bar Park there's no parking, but you know what? I'm gonna have Bitachon. I'm gonna trust that I'm gonna find parking when and where I need it.
Hmm.
So even small things like that can like actually just like get yourself into I like to call it like a frame of reference for bitachon. When you have a
Yes.
frame of reference, then you see everything in that light. You see that in that mindset where you're accessing God in a way, like that relationship.
Yes. Yes. This
Like
is a
like bitachon, a root for bitachon is tach, which is
hmm
plaster. So when you're plaster, you're so cemented, you're so stuck with relationship with Hashem that like He has to give it to you because like you're so much depending on Him. Like it's a
yes.
reciprocal effect, and you have that, and you could see it, but mamish in your own eyes. I had a friend of mine who owes a lot of money and owes a lot of money and he's struggling. He has like, I don't know, he has like 30 kids, but I mean he's a lot of kids. And Parnas is hard, like people, he owes people money. So I told him, I said, next time someone asks you for money, just tell them you'll pay him back tomorrow in a check. Tell him your check. Okay, fine. So people call him, and then one day he calls me, he says, Schatzy, someone asked me for $700. And the next day, someone out of the blue. I had no collection, no shaykhs whatsoever. Sorry, he's gonna give me $7 just for a chesed, just to help me out. So he asked,
Whoa.
yeah, it's pretty cool. He asked me, so then why can't that work when the guy's asking me for 25,000 I owe him?
Mm-hmm.
Told him, listen, there's no difference between God between 25 and 700. But when he asked you for $700, you really 100% committed to like that bitachon where I'm gonna give you that, I'm gonna get it to you. And he said, yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
for sure like gonna think that way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Even when, when I was growing up, my father used to, always said like when anything happened, it was like gamzlo tova. Like you lost something, gamzlo tova. It was like all it was just rolling off the tongue type of thing.
Yeah.
We don't have to always wait for something doom and gloom, God forbid, or life stressful to really access that level that we would like to be on, but not always does it work out the way, we see that, you know?
What I'm hearing is two very important points. Number one, that this is something that in order for us to have access to it when things go haywire, which, like you said, it happens. We lose our jobs. We come through a health problem, whatever the curveball that God Almighty sends our way, we'll have access to it if we've exercised it continue. It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
You have to internalize it. But the second thing beyond that, it's not just not just the talking about it and the commitment, but it's bringing that to a level of feeling. With the example that you just gave me, this man was able not just to commit to have the trust that he's going to find the $700, but because it was a relatively smaller amount, he felt that it was possible somehow. Now, if you tell me, Schatzy, that I have to trust that I'm going to find 25, he has a hard time with that feeling, right? So the same idea with the parking, right? You feel like, okay, it's possible. And it's not just that I'm trusting, it's I'm going to stay calm.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
It's a feeling like yourself. Like you have to have the feeling like you're like just, and people tell me like you just chilled.
Mhm.
Like you're on like cruise control. Like, okay, like you just go with it, you know? Like
Right.
nothing is gonna phase you. Like, obviously things are harder than others, but I'm saying, but more when you get that, when you do it like typical on a daily basis, there's so much opportunity where you could tap into, whether it's driving a car, losing something, missing something, you're late for a meeting,
Mhm.
you're going into a meeting, whatever it may be, to get that that frame of reference where you now everything you approach is like, oh, let's do it this way. Like it's like
Yeah.
an automatic reaction, whether it's
Yeah.
when you get to that point. I mean, sometimes it's harder than others. Some people might need 5 minutes today, some might need an hour, a few days, few weeks, whatever it may be, because of
Right.
whatever level you're holding on. Like even yesterday, like I was in shul and I had to get to a bar mitzvah in Borough Park. There's like no, it's like I'm like thinking there's no parking. There's no way it's gonna be parking at night. So I'm here in shul, like, should I daven later? Should I daven with a minion? I'm not gonna find parking. I'm like, 1 second, I'll stay to the end and I'll find parking because I know this is what God wants me to do here and now. And when I go to bar park, I know it's massive in the middle of all everything. And it's a bar mitzvah, so it's like probably nothing. Everybody's parking, whatever. Okay, I came, and Mama's like right in front. There's parking.
Exactly.
But you have to
Exactly.
realize that, like, also when it does happen, you have to like Baruch Hashem, like if I'm parking, thank you. Like
Exactly.
you have to
Exactly. But the
realize
process.
that this is what's happening. Like, like it's not like, even a simple thing like yesterday, I don't know, this morning, I was saying to him and my nose was running. Okay? Tissue, there's no tissue box. No, I'm serious. This is how I do. And this Pumfaket happens to be two tissue papers right over there next to my thing. Saying, okay, thank God I did tissue. And I thank the chef for taking the tissue paper for Pumfaket right there.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
the small things, you think it's
Yes.
nothing.
No,
So
it
much
is.
more, it's so much more than the bigger things. When things get harder and people struggle with so many different things, the struggles won't be as intense and you can ride it, and you can maybe hopefully see the good of it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're building the muscle memory. So, like you say, first of all, with the example of davening in shul, it's like if you can then do, when you're tempted to be in that space of should I leave now so I could get because you're already worried, you're already what's going to be, I'm not going to find parking. Bring yourself back to no, but I need to be in shul right now, davening with a minyan. This is what Hashem wants. The same Hashem who wants me here is going to find me the
Yeah.
spot and then you could calm down. And that's what happened. You found the spot. With the example that you gave me with the issue with the IRS, right? It took you whatever time it took you to settle your mind and say, okay, I'm going in the zone, right? And then, God forbid, the next time it happens, and I think you had an experience recently where you sent some money,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
can you
Yeah.
tell us about that? And because I think it
So
was even shorter for you that this
so
recent
I
time.
wired money to someone to pay overseas, and he typically gets it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And like a week get by, and he's like, I never got it. And I found that out while I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I got a little bit nervous, you know, like you want to call it like, okay, I wired a substantial amount of money, and he doesn't get it, you know, like what's going on type of thing. So
And we're not talking about $50.
no, we're talking substantial amount of money. And then I'm in my office. I'm like bugging out for like a minute or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was like thinking, okay, should I go to the bank now? I'll leave work, I'll come back, you know, whatever it may be. Like I'll go now. I have a few hours left to go, whatever. I was like, you know, thinking how I can do it. Like 1 second. I'll go tomorrow morning. Bank opens 8:30 in the morning. I'll go before work. It's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna change now. You know, like I'll do my work and like I moved on. Like nothing. Once I made that like thought and
Okay.
that commitment, it was like, okay, done. Like I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't thinking about it.
That's
Okay, fine, I
it.
owe the money. So next morning I go to the bank, 8:30, sit down, and they're telling me, okay, they left the bank account and there's nothing they can do. And I'm like, okay, like, and he didn't get it, and the bank said they left my bank. So like,
Where's the money?
here's the money. Exactly. Like, what did I do? You know? So I walk out of the bank and say, listen, God, listen, the money has to get there. I don't know how it's gonna get there, but I need my money in my bank or at the guy's, you know, thing. And I was in my when I was working whatever in my office, and I happened to see in the email. I logged in. I was like, oh, I'm just letting you know I got the money. I don't know how or why it took a week, you know, but it got there.
Right.
I
Right.
don't care. I don't care how it got there. You know, people like I want to be able. The how makes no difference because
Oh my gosh.
when you limit yourself into how you want to get the money, then you're just limiting Hashem in the bracha. Like, why would
Exactly.
you do that? You need $10,000. What do I care where it comes from? Oh, you need
Exactly.
a shoe or you need something else. What does it care? Why do you care where it comes from? Why? And then
I
you're just
agree.
limiting Hashem's bracha and shefa. Like
I
God's
agree.
unlimited. Anything. I mean, you could walk in the street and God knows.
I agree. Agree. If we could get rid of the trying to control the how, right? How is it that I'm gonna, make this financial goal or whatever it is, and we're trying to box the let God do it. Just focus on the why you're doing it. Focus on what you need to do right now. You needed to go to the bank when at
Yeah.
8:30 in the morning, not in the middle of work, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
And let
that's your style. It's like you do outpay normalcy. Like that's what I
exactly
do. You go to the bank and make things. Okay, done. Like what else you want? Okay, I don't know. Like figure it out, God.
right.
Like I need the money.
It's because we think that we're actually in control. So we're trying to control the how of everything. But the minute we realize we're not in control of anything and
Yeah.
we surrender to the one who has the master plan for our life, but we have to feel it. We have to get
Yeah,
ourselves
it
to
has to be
go.
like Yargish. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
you gotta make sure like you can't be lip service. Like I have be talking about I'm not because God knows what's going on really. Like you could fool the outside world. Like yeah, people say I be talking okay, but like tachas, if you really had 100% talking, I'm sorry. There's no
Mm-hmm.
uh there's no like it's gonna work. And like it just works. It's
Yeah.
it's how things come about. You know.
Yeah. Were there, Shatzi, any financial failures or challenges and now you look back on? I think you maybe alluded to this on a LinkedIn post at some point, but that you look back on them now and you say, this was a great learning opportunity. I learned that lesson. I'm not making that mistake again. Can you share some of those and maybe
That's
lessons
right. But
learned?
I still might make those mistakes again.
Oh, okay. Well, can you share some of those those failures and the lessons?
I was involved with some investment, you want to call it business, whatever, and it went kind of upside down.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard and it challenged. Definitely might be talking to next levels. You
What, you
have,
had put money down and then
yeah,
the
yeah,
next.
yeah, yeah. It was like complete lost.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have it, what I Would I change it? No, because the amount of learning I got from, or maximizing, you want to call it Bitachon, you can't there's no price for it.
Mm. I think you're alluding to the closeness to Hashem.
Yeah, like, okay, it happened and it was really draining for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And also no one really knew about it. It was like, maybe one or two friends, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And your family, I'm assuming.
No,
Mm-hmm. Meaning your wife didn't know?
no one knew.
Wait, wait, wait. This is interesting. So there's been financial challenges and you keep your wife like kind of sheltered from them?
Yeah, I don't want her to. She had to be nervous for, anxiety for, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was no point. Like, what's the more anxiety, more nervous system sense? No.
Yeah, but sometimes, Shatsi, there is the point of letting a spouse know, now we are at a loss here. We don't know when we're going to recover the money or whatever, and there's no money coming in, or there's less coming in money this year than, like this year was a really hard year for many people, right? Sometimes I feel there needs to be a conversation so that your spouse knows
No,
what's the cash flow,
depending on the circumstances. Yeah. Mhm.
right? Because then sometimes it could lead to real just a misunderstanding. It's not like one spouse wants to continue spending, or allocating money the way they were used to. It's just that the financial situation temporary, right? Doesn't warrant it. And then another party might get hurt or it might add pressure to the other party just because the one party doesn't know that they can't spend like that.
Yeah. No, in my case, it wasn't impacting her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
impact, I decided, okay, I'll uh, I'll ride the wave.
You talked about your father. He's a teacher. So much of the way we think about money and the way we behave with money is based on what we learn at our parents' home during our formative years. Any memorable lessons, Shatsi, growing up? Maybe things that you saw your parents do or say that you learned from them that you think have definitely shaped the way you are with money as an adult. And they could be positive things, they could be negative things. I don't know.
I think they always told me, like, put some aside, work a little bit, save a little bit. Don't overspend on things you don't need.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my father, they were not a risk taker. I'm a little bit more of a risk taker.
I was gonna say you probably are. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just I'm not fully crazy, but I do take risk.
Uh-huh. But you learn that fiscal responsibility from them, just like the basics,
Yeah, yeah.
which is actually to you might not be unique, but it's actually unfortunately, I want to say, not that common. Not many people get taught like just basic live within your means, put some money aside, kind of thing.
No, I did simple. Wasn't I don't know. Saying I didn't. I just had the regular things. I didn't buy anything crazy or
And that's the way you continue to be.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. And you teach your children that?
yeah. I'm really, pretty simple. Nothing too crazy.
People might listen to us here talking about, you have to bitachon and challenge, you strengthen your relationship with Hashem and challenges can even disappear and don't be emotionally tethered to money and things like that and have fun, enjoy what you're doing. And if you're not ready to have fun, like, and they might think like, this is crazy because I have, thousands of dollars in debt. I'm struggling, in business or with work, and I have to pay tuitions and all the things that you.
I've been there, done that. I've been unemployed. I know what it's like.
Right,
It's not like I'm pulling out a high air type of thing.
right.
I know what it feels like.
And yet there is some sort of optimism and also practicality. So maybe talk to us because we know the optimism that Schatzy lives with, but there's also the practical. Let's take action. What can we do? And I think that's where something like your latest endeavor, Parnassa Anchor, comes in. Tell us about that and give us some words of inspiration also for the people who are listening to us and say, look, I'm really, really struggling.
No, I help people try to, part of my chesed, I help people find jobs.
Mm-hmm. So how does that work?
Sometimes, well, now they just call me. Um, no, I help them if they're looking for a job, if they're unemployed, if they need a resume, I'll help them get a resume redone. If they need interview coaching, I can do interview coaching with them, you know.
You personally take time out of your day
No,
to,
I would fund that interview coach.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Fund have the resume redone. I mean, I talk to them, everybody who calls, saying
right.
I
So
probably get right these days. I probably get between I don't know average of 50 calls a week. Um, I'll talk to everybody,
you'll talk to them and based on what they need, you'll set them up with the right person who can help them get the resume or
I'll try to, yeah, yeah. If they're looking for a job, if I know if there's something opened, you know.
where did it come from to take it to that level? Not just from helping a few people, but say, you know what, I'm going to have a nonprofit. I'm going to really dedicate this. I think I read somewhere that you've generated like something close to $3 million in salaries for people. People have really found jobs.
Yeah,
When did you say this needs to be a formal thing that I need to do for the community?
it's formal and it's not formal because people just call me because they heard, okay, call Schatzy because he'll actually listen to you.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've been doing it since I'm 18. Trying helping people find jobs. It's kind of you know, kind of what I do. I mean, I'm good at it. Whatever I'm saying, people come back for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I help people like they have a job for like 2 3 years. I'm like, okay, I'm looking for another one. I got the whatever. I find sometimes people do the second job.
Mm-hmm.
But not to get bogged down. Like you got to do what you have to do. Like you got to apply for jobs. You have to see how you can make some money. You could see how you can pay your bills. You can budget, but not to get like invested or not to get consumed by it. Like do it, but do it with the intention of having bitachon. Like I'm doing it because this is what I'm doing. I'm making a budget because this is a mitzvah. I'm doing it
Right.
because Hashem wants me to do it.
Right. Right.
I'm looking for a job. Okay, I'm going to look for a job. I'm calling every recruiter out there. I'm applying for jobs, but not getting like depressed about it.
Mm-hmm. And you tell them that when people call you and they're in that cynical, despondent, depressed state?
Sometimes, I mean, I could try, I could talk like I've been there, done that type of thing.
Right.
Like I tell people, if you get laid off for a job, I give you resource for one day to be depressed. You can be depressed for a day. You
Mm-hmm.
just gotta look for a job. You just gotta do
Right.
it. I don't care what you gotta do. Call friends, call people, call recruiters, make them crazy. Do what you have to do, but don't get like do it in a way where it's like, okay, this is not what I have to do now. It's a job. I'm looking for a job.
Right. But also while you're doing it, work on not being nervous what you're doing. Work on your bitachon. Because there's doing it and being a basket case all along the way. And that really closes the pipeline. That makes it even harder for a
Yeah.
person. But if you could stay calm and you could stay joyful, it actually increases your chances of success in the way you want to see it, no?
Yeah.
The chances of success not only are they higher and greater, but your own mental health and your own
Yeah,
like
sure.
everything, right? Your level of happy, everything in your life flows.
Yeah.
And from your inspiration, a lot of these people also gather, okay, I can't be in a panic mode.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So I got to understand from a time management perspective, which is totally not my strength. Like, how does Schatzy manage his time? Like, what's a day like? How do you run your businesses? How do you also do your client coaching, your play therapy, and Parnassa Anchor and take all these phone calls?
I'm a master delegator. I delegate as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll just delegate to the very least. I mean, obviously, I'm not delegating my play therapy that I do or making
Mm-hmm.
phone calls, but I delegate for a lot of things in my day. Also, I have a calendar where it's broken up into 15-minute increments. So I'm very time conscious.
Oh,
If I need to be somewhere at 12, I'm going to be there at 12. If I need to be somewhere at 2:30, for the most part, I'll try to, I mean, I'm only human, but like my friend said to me one time, like, you were late 5 minutes. Like, I thought something happened to you because like
you're never late.
6 o'clock, it's like it's done 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The hard part is getting used to people not expecting the same from people.
Yeah, I agree. That is the hardest part. I'm also very punctual, but but on top of that, I also find it very hard having the like when I'm dedicated to so many things, then I when I need my creative time to produce content or write articles or whatever it is to do, it just but my head is in all the, all the appointments that I'm having in the next 45 minutes. It just makes it very hard. I'm
But
telling you my weakness.
when you're doing what you're doing, are you fully there doing
Oh
what?
my gosh, you sound like the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Right, exactly. Well, evidently I'm not.
So if you were fully present, whatever you're doing, then that content will just come. And you
Right.
happen to that. You wouldn't have to sit down, okay, for now, and I'm gonna make content. You had a whole day to make content. What happened to that?
Right,
You,
but you don't have a whole day. And you
no,
have another appointment
no,
coming up in one
you,
hour.
you
You
have,
have 1 hour.
you can have notes, you write down things, different things that jog your memory. And when you want to sit down, okay, I'm gonna sit down now and make content. And you do content.
Exactly. 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not only that, if you want to be even better, what I do is says, this is my day, this is my content. Now I have my assistant. Now write me content. Say, oh,
Yeah,
just
you know what? I used to have a ghostwriter, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I would just give her the ideas, the notes,
okay.
now go write it. And
Yeah.
then she'd come back. I just revised the article. I would edit it, and but I haven't found a good ghostwriter ever since. So I have to find another one.
Let me know. I might have a good one.
Okay, I will.
That's the thing. Just delegate as much as you can.
Yeah. When this year started, I said my goal in business this year is to fire myself from as many jobs as possible. That's my mission for the year.
Because then I can do the things I want to do.
Right.
I can play music because I'm not bogged down.
What do you play?
I play the piano and I play the violin. Okay?
Meaning you air quotes why? Because you just started or what?
But I'm learning. I mean, it's been it's not an easy instrument to learn to play.
So going back to the juggle of all the different responsibilities, here's a question for you regarding, I guess, I guess boundaries. I mean, if you're so accessible, Schatzy, your mission is it's very you said it. I think you send it to me or I read it on LinkedIn or something, but you call your mission, how can I help? Call me. And people do reach out to you. You have a number 188 Schatzy, which I'm publicizing here. I hope it's okay. I'm sure it is, right? Right. So how do you reconcile the quote unquote free access to Schatzy and the genius that he is with your business helping entrepreneurs scale? Presumably these clients have to pay Schatzy. So how do you set the boundaries for their benefit? It's important for them to pay and for your benefit and for the benefit of the relationship. What's the limit as to how much people can just call and, quote unquote, pick your brain?
People
And
call me anytime. Just sitting here, I probably had already literally not maybe 40 WhatsApp messages and 5 phone calls. Look
uh-huh.
at my phone now. But I'll get back to them. You called, you got a message, I'll get back to you. Like certain
Mm-hmm.
times I'll go through my WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta address each one. I'll call people back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with a client, then that's whatever that amount of hours needed for that.
Right. But then there's a
Um,
situation where people are calling and they're asking you for advice, and it could be business advice, right? At what point it's like, this is just a call that I take and it's free advice. And at what point is it we have to formalize this relationship because this doesn't make sense?
if it's going more serious, like okay, they want to like pick my brain for a second, or they're looking for a job. Anybody looking for a job, I'll call them in no matter what. But if it's business, want to pick my brain for half an hour, 20 minutes, that's fine. You want to
Mhm.
get like process, you want like more detail, okay, then book an hour phone call with me and we could go over things with you.
Right. A paid hour.
Yeah.
Right, right. So that's similar to how I do it. I have like a 20-minute slot that it's completely free and we can talk about whatever you want. And then there's like a paid hour slot that then we can make this into a formal business relationship. So that's the way you do it. Any other, I know we talked about the daily study of Shara Bitachon and other texts on Bitachon, but are there any other daily habits that you practice, or they don't have to be daily, but any other habits that you practice regularly that impact your financial life, Shatzi?
Any daily activities that impact my financial? Yeah, I give away, I give tzedakah every day.
Uh-huh. Is it like a pushka app? Is it before davening? What do you mean I give every day?
Meaning I have cash on me every single day.
Wow, you still carry cash around. I love that.
Yeah, because every time I go to a store, I make sure to give tzedakah, whatever that is. So you
Mm-hmm.
always have a way of giving, whether it's in show, whether it's in the store,
Mm-hmm.
someone's asking for money,
Mm-hmm.
always giving.
Wow. Is that
So
something you saw at home growing up?
yeah, both my parents were giving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just do it to a more micro level. Like I'll walk into a store and I'll make sure to give tzedakah in the tzedakah box. That's why I have cash with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On that topic, when it comes to like Meiser or Homish, like, are you very strict with it? Was it something that you always did? Talk to us about that a little bit.
I guess back in the day I gave chomish. Um, Now I probably give also probably like there was probably times where I gave Meiser just because I couldn't do it, or sometimes I didn't have Meiser, I gave something,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm more like I give it and I'm not worried because what I'm gonna give is gonna come back. So I'll
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
and I give more like towards if I know the organization, like I know the owner of the organization, I know the people. I'm very selective who I give because I don't know who's who, whatever, or impact, whatever. So mostly it's like families I needed or people that I know. Like I had someone, let's say in Williamsburg, I know she's she gives money out to families in her, so I'll give her. Here's a lump sum, a few dollars, and you distribute because you could do that. We could work together and do that.
Mm-hmm. 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 But are you very particular to make sure that you keep a tally and accounting? Is that something that you,
Yeah, I keep a tally, but I usually go over the tally.
right? You're saying even if it's Meiser, I'm usually over Meiser.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
make sure to go over mine.
Amazing. Shatzy, I always like to end my conversations, my interviews with what I call Jewish Money Matters fill in the blanks. And this is the part of the show where I give you an open-ended sentence and you finish it with the first thing that comes to mind. You game for it?
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Okay, so I'd love to make more money because
I want to be able to give away more.
mm, very nice, very nice. Is your wife also into giving like you?
She gives. She makes sure she gives mine, so yeah, I know for paycheck.
Right, right.
I can go.
Something
I can go a little crazy with that.
you what?
I can go a little crazy.
You can go a little crazy,
Yeah.
meaning go just give exceedingly.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. And you're okay if she does too, you're saying.
yeah, but she's more like Masuda.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Very nice. So balances it out, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Something I wish I'd learned about money growing up is
Something I wish I had my how to make it work for you.
mm-hmm.
How to how to work for you. How to make it so you keep on like it keeps making it for itself.
Right, that compounding, right? That savings
Uh,
can't do.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. Like I tell my kids now that I help them invest their money. I'm like, guys, this is the key. You can't just leave your money sitting in a savings account. You gotta hold some and set it aside and just go to sleep and let it just multiply.
Yeah, so that's what I think that's what I wanted to do, I would learn.
I know, and it becomes harder the older we get and the more responsibilities we have because we have less
Yeah.
money to put aside and let it grow. That's the reality. I mean, look, it's real. I tell people to invest as early as they can, but I know it just gets harder as life goes by, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Money, spiritual or physical? Or both. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think?
Both.
Mm-hmm. Tell me why. Why do you think it's both?
Money for me is money. I'm just a manager. It's
Ah.
not mine to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the God says, okay, it's for you and your family, whatever. And some says, I need you to give it to someone else.
Mm-hmm. 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 You
And
know,
that could be someone else, meaning that could be you losing it too. Losing it.
what do you mean you're losing it?
Because you're not losing it. You're just changing hands.
Right.
Right, okay, now you have it, now you're not gonna have it.
Right. Before when we were talking about financial challenges, and you mentioned, sometimes you're in debt. I often heard my Rav, and recently I had a client who had to ask her Rav, and there was this answer to the situation where they were in debt, and the question was, do I keep giving Meiser when I'm in debt? And many times I heard the answer is no. But recently I had a guest on the show that kind of changed that tune for me and was like, no, like, why would you stop doing? I mean, everybody asked their Rav, but basically his take was, I've been in that situation and I've never stopped giving Meiser because that's kind of like putting the clog on, like stopping the pipeline of, Hashem's going to send anyway. Why would I stop being his fiduciary and his agent? And the way he shared it made a big impact on me. I'm not, again, not suggesting again, everybody should ask the Rav what to do in their particular situation, but it definitely like, it was very refreshing to hear. What's your take? And I'm sure you've had personal experience with this.
It depends on where you're holding.
Mm-hmm.
Probably are. If you
You
could, by all means.
when you say depends on when you're holding, do you are you specifically referring to your level of bitachon? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah,
you mean?
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some people say, Meiser, you have to kind of take care of your family. I'm saying that
Right.
I don't know what, some people say paying for kids' tuition or girls' tuition. I've heard things in the past, I don't know. You want to get specifics, okay? So then maybe you should sit down with a Rav who could give you guidance about, okay, what is considered Meiser, whatever you're doing,
Right.
and then okay, fine. Then, but I don't think it should take away from giving every day.
Wow. Wow. Very
It
nice.
could be a penny, it could be a
Mm-hmm.
dime,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I agree.
It doesn't have to be,
Agree. Agree. Agree.
uh,
Shatzi, something I splurge on unapologetically is
food.
really, you're a foodie? And do you cook also? You cook?
Shift, yeah.
Wait, you're a chef too?
It's a hobby of mine. I went to school in between school.
You went what?
I went to culinary school in between semesters in school.
Are you serious? Well, I guess the question is, what has Shatzi not done?
I don't go
You didn't,
skydiving. I don't go skydiving. I don't do crazy stuff like that. I'm going on roller coasters. I'm boring to a lot of people, but it's fine. I can be boring.
you don't do Hatsala? You're not into medical things?
No, I was gonna go EMT, but I dropped out of course because I just have too many things going on right now. But that's a good one.
Maybe that's in the future. Spender or saver?
Both, but I'm not spending like I'm more on the saving part. I'm more like investing, like try to find things to do or things that
Mm-hmm.
are exciting or different business or different ideas or try things out.
When you invest, you tend to invest in businesses, and like r real estate, but you're not into the stock market or you're
I
or
don't, I don't
everything.
do I don't do real estate. I invest in people.
Oh, so businesses.
People.
Mm-hmm.
People have businesses.
Yes,
I like
agree.
I like the people to invest in. The business could figure out by itself.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's the most important thing.
In
Stock
fact,
market, yes,
I,
no.
I have a mutual fund that I have there for like God knows how many years. I don't play it because it's a big type of mine to play stock market.
Yeah, agree.
I tend to shy away from it because I can get pretty consumed.
No,
But
but sit and forget it kind of thing.
yeah, I just put a few dollars and that's it. It's gone.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Actually, let's go back to the people. When you look at the people, when you look to invest in a business, which is really investing in a person, in a leader, what are you looking for? What grabs you about that
I'm
individual?
not looking, but if I hear who they are and what they are, I'm like, okay, you could be good at this. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll just mesh the two together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking per se.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people. I reach out to people. If they're telling me things and their experience and they're passionate, and I'm like, okay, then why don't you be good at this?
Right, but when we're talking about backing somebody up financially, what do you see in that person that warrants you saying, I'm putting my money on this individual?
Passion, dedication, knowledge, having the same type of, I don't know, vision, I guess, or mission you want to call it in terms of enjoying what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Could take responsibility, not like, whatever, like I'm opening a pizza shop on 13th Avenue. Like, okay. Like I'm not
Right.
interested. Like that's just not for me, it's not interested. I need to enjoy what I'm doing, with somebody.
Yeah. 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 So you tend, when you invest in somebody, you tend to be an active partner, meaning not just like cash, but actually my brain and my
Yeah,
savvy.
yeah. I like to get involved. I'm not the type of person like if I want to invest something like I'm gonna like whatever, sit on the beach somewhere, it's not happening, you know.
Nice. Nice. You're always on the giving side, Shatzi. Baruch Hashem. It's so nice.
Oh, sure.
It's really, really, really
And
nice.
you don't always have to give by money, you can give by
Right.
word, you can give by a phone call, you give by support.
Right. And going back to what you do in terms of helping people find a job and a parnasa and all that, so much of what we often need is just to be heard, right? Just the ability that I was heard, I was seen, I felt seen and validated. That's like a huge chesed and a tremendous amount of help in and of itself.
Yeah, I agree.
Today, I'm most grateful for.
Today I'm most grateful for. I get every day. I said, Moidani,
Mhm.
another day. Thank God. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Every I think
I'm grateful you give me the opportunity to be here and share.
oh, I'm grateful.
As much as some of it I didn't want to come, but like, okay, I got to get the nerves to like, okay, let's do it. Let's have fun. Let's have a conversation. See where it goes. Well, whatever. We'll make it work.
I hope it's been fun. Now going back to the fun and we'll end it here. Do you take your like the therapy? Is this a daily thing that you see children every day, you see clients every day?
Usually on the weekends and like after school sometimes, like Sundays.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And most of the weekday is more in business and the business coaching.
Yeah.
Amazing. Schatzy, thank you for the opportunity. What's next? What big projects? What do you have up your sleeve? Please tell us. I'm sure it's something exciting.
I don't know if I can give it away right now yet.
Oh, you're gonna have to come back when it's materialized then.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you off the hook.
Yes. I think you'd really like it actually.
Huh?
I think you'd really like it actually.
Oh, really? Okay, so that means you're gonna tell me later about it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that means you're invited back, Schatzy, and I hope you'll take me up on that invitation. So
Sure.
tell us again where we can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on a phone call. You can call me directly, 1-888-Schatzy. You can just call me whenever.
Schatzy, thank you so much. And thank you for everything you're doing for the Jewish people and the world as a whole, because really, when we're a light to others, we're really illuminating the whole world and making it better. And you're doing an amazing job at it and continuing to be an inspiration on the importance of formally learning Bitachon so that we can apply it and make it an integral part of our lives. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I mean, thank you. To all the best.